Hey, my sweet babies. So, it took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say. So, yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta and as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count and too many for me to tap, but I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home?
What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? This is Micah Dobbins, host of the Micah Dobbins Show, brought to you by Misfits of Media, and glad you guys are able to check out tonight's show. Let me start by letting you guys know that there are going to be several changes coming really soon. I want you to go visit my website, www.themicahdobbinsshow.com. Sign up for my monthly newsletter. Be sure that you go to my YouTube, go to my Twitter to follow, go to my Instagram and all of my social media platforms so that you'll be able to keep up with me as we make these changes and bring out new information that's very important that we want you guys to have as it pertains to this show. I hope you guys are excited about tonight's show as much as I am. We're going to go ahead and run with our first story under Micah Reacts. So I hope you guys are ready for this. We're going to be talking about the video that Monique, the comedian, did this week on Instagram, and it caused quite a stir. And we're going to go ahead and play the clip right now for you.
Hey, my sweet babies. So, it took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say because I want to make sure I'm not saying it in judgment, and I want to make sure I'm saying it from a place of love. Y'all, some of y'all have given me the title of auntie, and I'm honored that y'all do that, right? But there are times where auntie got to talk to her babies and say some real. So yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta and as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough shit out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So all of those posts that you see celebrities putting out there saying, hey queen, hey queen, hey queen, well, can we start putting it into action? So I'm asking our wiser sisters, when we see our little babies out there looking like they just don't care, and I'm not saying y'all don't, It looks like it. Can we just tap them and say, baby girl, you deserve more than what you're showing? And queens don't walk around with bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of Hey Queen.
Okay, so let me first say this, okay, before we unwrap this thing, let me go ahead and first say this. Number one, while Monique is very much appreciated in this video, I gotta be honest, a lot of the things she says I really don't buy into when it comes to like marriage and, you know, having an open marriage and all these things. Obviously, I don't agree there at all. But I will say this, that a broken clock is right 2 times a day. And Monique hit the nail on the head. Yo, if I had a hat, it would be hats off to you. Salute you for that one, Monique. I got to give you your props on that. I know that there are those that are mad and angry and some that have even left comments and different things at her. You know, people coming at her about the silk bonnet thing. Listen, silk bonnet mafia, we don't want you guys coming after us. But I got to tell you from a male perspective that she's very much on point. Not that you're doing, you know, your hair or your makeup because you want to get a man per se, but just for having dignity and self-respect about yourself. I remember talking to my wife, who I went to the store, and these girls were like literally pajama down, silk bonnet, riding the carts around. Able-bodied young people, mind you, riding the carts around, playing bumper cars while grocery shopping. And I was highly embarrassed for them. So I know a lot of you guys probably feel like, oh, well, who is she to tell me? Rather than take an attitude with Monique, you really need to listen to what she's saying, because it does have relevance to how you feel about yourself and how you carry yourself in public. I can't tell you how happy I was to actually hear her say it. Some of y'all would probably rather have heard it from like a Kevin Samuels, and you probably would have been like, oh, okay, we need to start taking the silk bonnets off to get a high value man. But I'm glad that it was a sister that was willing to tell you like, hey, I'm auntie. I love y'all. You know, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I'm just going to tell y'all the real. You looking a hot mess out there. You know, when you run around with that silk bonnet, I'm going to tell you what a guy thinks so that you get it from a male perspective. Because I've talked to men about this, and they've shared their insight with me on these things. I had one fella tell me that when he sees a girl walking around in her pajamas, it just, to him, it makes him think, oh, she's a freak, because basically she's just bedroom ready 24/7. That's not good. That's not a good look. I've had others that have said, you know, they look dirty. They look like they didn't even take time to take a bath or brush their teeth. They just rolled out of bed with a silk bonnet, with some SpongeBob SquarePants, dirty pajamas and dingy flip-flops, and walked out the house. So you need to start conducting yourself or carrying yourself in a better way. You know what I mean? You can't want to see people respect you and treat you well, and you're still running around looking juvenile like that. It's time to grow up. It's time to go ahead and put your clothes on right, wash your face, do your hair. I mean, she says so many things. And I agree, you know, you don't have to put on a full face of makeup. You can just wrap it up, put in a ponytail, something, natural look, whatever. But just going out with the silk bonnet looks plain lazy. You know, I don't know, you know, the whole scarf thing. To me, it just looks like somebody just, I don't know, like they just ran off the plantation and they're like, hey, I'm going to get some groceries today. Like, do your hair, you know what I mean? Do something. So I'm not mad at Monique at all for this, actually. I think she's very much on point. I think that a lot of these young women have a lot to learn when it comes to these things. And if you are trying to attract a male and he's attracted to that look, you really need to raise your bar and your standard. Chances are that guy has a meeting with a probation officer and you really don't need that in your life right now. Seriously, no, but you really want to step your game up, and going out looking like you just woke up and rolled out of bed is not fly. It's not cute. I'm not exactly sure how far back the trend goes. Cause like I said, a couple of people I've talked to, one guy said it started even back, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. I'm not sure, but whenever it started, we need to leave it there. You know, for real, we need to leave it there and come out dressed to impress. You never know who you're going to see when you're out in public. You know, you might run into your future boss one day while you're out there, you know, silk bonnet down. You may run into your future person that you hope to marry or be with while we're at it, hold on, let me back it up a little bit, because she did a great job talking to the women. But some of you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I as a brother, I got to come to the men. You know, dudes, Why are you wearing like tight pants, still showing your underwear? Like, that is so played out right now. Pull your pants up, look like you got some dignity and sense about yourself. You know, and I know that you probably don't like to hear that because nobody likes to be checked. Nobody likes to be told what's right to do anymore in society. But please, by all means, you're making a lot of people look bad. You're disrespecting what everybody wants to talk about, the ancestors. Honoring I want to look to my elders. You're disrespecting the ancestors and the elders when you run around looking like, you know, you ain't got nothing going for yourself. So please, by all means, start to dress like you really care and like you really care about yourself, and, practice good hygiene, because it's not good running around in pajamas all day, especially if you really did sleep in them. That's not very hygienic. So I just wanted to give a kudos to Monique for keeping it real. This segment's Micah Reacts. Glad you said what you said, Monique. Good job, star, gold star, the whole nine. I gotta agree with you on that. I can't even be mad. And if you ain't nobody mad but the devil. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll jump right back into it. This is the Micah Dobbins Show. What's up, guys? How you doing? This is Micah Dobbins, host of the Micah Dobbins Show, and this show is brought to you by none other than Tees of Faith 316. When I go out and about sometimes and I'm rocking my Tees of Faith gear, people usually read the statements on my shirts and ask me, where did I get them from? So now you guys too can order your own shirts from Tees of Faith, even the official clothing of the Micah Dobbins Show. This right now is one of my favorite hoodies, Thou Shalt Not Steal, still relevant, representing for Tees of Faith 316. All right, guys, so we're back again. Welcome. This is the Micah Dobbins Show, and I wanted to go ahead and get into a couple of things. So for those who haven't heard, Joe Biden gave a speech this week at Greenwood, as far as for Tulsa, Oklahoma, basically commemorating the riots that took place. And some of you may have seen the documentary that was produced on CNN by LeBron James and other executive producer on that project, which basically was speaking of Greenwood, Black Wall Street, and, calling Dreamland, the burning of Black Wall Street is the official title. Hopefully you guys were able to check that out. Very interesting documentary. They're still digging up some of the mass graves and finding the bodies that were hidden during that massacre that took place in the early 1900s. And I just wanted to bring out some things to help us to kind of reflect as we're thinking on this, because a lot of what Joe Biden said in his speech are things that I have been saying in conversation, things that I've brought up even on this show. And it was really satisfying to hear a president actually address some of the grievances. Now, according to National Geographic, I just want to share this story. It says more than half of Black-owned businesses may not survive COVID-19. One report found that 41% of Black-owned businesses have been shuttered by COVID-19, compared to just 17% of white-owned businesses. Now, why is this relevant? Why is this important? We have to have understanding that if this community continues to struggle, if we still don't get the results that we need to better the African-American community, there's going to be continual problems throughout our society. Whether you believe it or not, a lot of people like to say, I don't see color, we're Americans. Act like an American then, and love your neighbors yourself, and treat people how you want to be treated. Joe Biden said things in a speech that I'm gonna make sure I roll this in a clip for you guys if I haven't already.
What they could have contributed all these years. Imagine a thriving Greenwood in North Tulsa for the last 100 years. What that would have meant for all of Tulsa, including the white community. While the people of Greenwood rebuilt again in the years after the massacre, it didn't last. Eventually, neighborhoods were redlined on maps, locking Black Tulsa out of home ownership. A highway was built right through the heart of the community. Lisa, I was talking about our west side, what 95 did after we were occupied by the military, after Dr. King was murdered. The community, cutting off Black families and businesses from jobs and opportunity. Chronic underinvestment from state and federal governments denied Greenwood even just a chance of rebuilding. We must find the courage to change the things we know we can change. That's what Vice President Harris and I are focused on. along with our entire administration, including our Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Marcia Fudge, who's here today. Because today we're announcing two expanded efforts targeted toward black wealth creation that will also help the entire community. The first is my administration has launched an aggressive effort to combat racial discrimination in housing. That includes everything from redlining to the cruel fact that a home owned by a black family is too often appraised at a lower value than a similar home owned by a white family. And I might add, and I need help if you have answered this one, I can't figure this one out, Congressman Horsford, but if you live in a black community and there's another one on the other side of the highway, it's a white community, it's built by the same builder, and you have a better driving record than the guy with the same car in the white community, you're getting paid more for your auto insurance. Shockingly, the percentage of black American homeownership is lower today in America than when the Fair Housing Act was passed more than 50 years ago. Lower today. That's wrong. And we're committed to changing that. Just imagine if instead of denying millions of Americans the ability to own their own home and build generational wealth, we made it possible for them to buy a home and build equity into that home and provide for their families.
He says some things in his speech that should be troubling to each of us. The fact that my zip code can mean that I pay more for car insurance, even if I'm a better driver than my white counterpart in a better side of town, is problematic. And it's time that we stop denying these things and start trying to come up with tangible solutions. I'm definitely appreciative of him speaking on it during his speech. I would like to see more action as it pertains to these things. I heard him say that he was going to address the wealth gap. And how he intended to try to fix it. I'm interested to see how. I know that for me personally, I've pushed entrepreneurship and tried to educate people on entrepreneurship. And when I say people, people of all races, but I do obviously have a heart hoping that the African-American community or the black community would say, hey, you know, let's start trying to own more businesses, maybe try to do things a little bit different than things in the past. I know everybody's not going to be able to be a rapper. And if you understand the hip hop game and you know how the publishing works or the singing game, you know how the music business works, most of them end up broke in the end anyway. There's only a handful that ever really get to the golden goose that everybody's chasing or the golden egg the goose is laying. So I feel that we need to try a different route. I did see a study that was published this week that said since the stimulus money has gone out, there has been an influx in LLCs being filed and businesses being started. And they said a vast majority of entrepreneurial endeavors was taking place now in the black community. So while those businesses that did exist may be failing, there are those that are creating new businesses and are trying new things. Some are trying, the stock market. They may use Robinhood or other apps to try to invest their money. Some are actually saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start that pressure washing company, that car wash, that landscaping business. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and start my bakery. I'm going to go ahead and start my vegan spot. Whatever it is that you feel the inspiration to do, I think now is a good time to consider these things, even while the economy is topsy-turvy. Things may be down, but the job market going up. You might find yourself in a very good position if you go ahead and attempt to start that business now. I got to give a shout out to, Give Me More Teas. She's been doing great. This weekend, she's getting ready to launch her next business venture in addition to the t-shirt business that she already shared with us. Now she has a building. These are the kind of success stories that we want to hear. And what I love most about Toni Washington and Give Me More Teas, she actually wasn't stingy with the information. My daughter has a t-shirt business and she was willing to give information, vital information to help. And this is something that we need to start doing. Start mentoring the community. There's enough to go around for everybody. You don't have to be king of the hill, my four and no more, and be stingy. You can actually give information and help other people be successful, and then maybe start a coalition together to where you can start lobbying these politicians to try to help fix some of the ailments in the African American community today. I've been saying this and talking about this. I remember I was speaking to a business owner. It was a gentleman, a business owner, a Korean gentleman. Uncle Sam is his name, actually. And that's what he says his name is. But while I was talking to him, we were chatting it up. And he was saying how hard it was in the hair industry, as far as his business, to compete with some of the mainstream stores, because his store was a smaller mom and pop style business. And he said what happened was him and a couple of other small business owners pitched together. And they basically made an allegiance to put all of their orders together in bulk, so the distributors would recognize them ordering just as much as the bigger named hair companies. And now through this unity that they have, they've been able to get lower costs when they order the goods, because as they were ordering it individually, because the orders were so small, they were paying more. So I wanted to share that with you guys to let you know that, you need to start looking at your future as it pertains to starting a company or business. Now, not everybody can do this. Everybody's not an entrepreneur. Some people, if you don't have it in you, I recommend that you do find a job right now while the market is looking for workers. It is a workers market right now. They are thirsty for talent. And you may be able to find a job that you normally would have been passed over for, but now jobs are willing to train. I even saw one pizza place I was driving by. They're offering $1,000 sign-on bonus just for you to become an employee. So right now it is a workers market, and you can dust off that resume. If you're at a job you hate, you can find a job that you probably would like or enjoy in a new industry, and they'll welcome you with open arms, because right now people are struggling to get workers. So you may want to take advantage of this moment if that's you. But for the entrepreneur out there, for the one that is willing to take the risk and want to, make something or create something or give a product or service for people to buy, you should consider using your money wisely, educating yourself, and striking out. There are those weird spaces in time, those glimpses in time where things happen and you have to take advantage of it. This is really one of those times right now where people can really change their life if you're willing to take that risk. And you're going to have to discipline yourself. Yes, there's going to be some sacrifice involved. You may not have, the extra money to go out and get your Starbucks or go out and, eat out every day. You may not be able to go hang out every weekend like you used to, but instead you're going to be focused. You may not be able to go buy those Jordans or those Yeezys or whatever you've been spending, Gucci belts and all that stupid stuff you may have been spending your money on. Now you're going to find that it's the time to take those dollars and help them to increase, to work for you. You want to take that money to create it, to create other avenues of income or streams of income sources so that it helps you. And with the internet right now, with YouTube and all the different ways that you can learn, people are without excuse. You can go to a public library and get information. You can go to Barnes and Noble and read books in the coffee shop while you're there about the business venture that you choose to do. I cannot stress to you the importance of it. And I cannot also stress the importance of mentorship. If you are that entrepreneur, if you are successful, don't hold back. Help others to make it as well. Just wanted to share that story with you guys. I was really encouraged at the fact that we do now have people that are speaking up about some of the issues that have been going on, some of the plights that Black people have faced. And when you have two separate stories, mind you, of people who tried to get their home appraised. One couple was in Florida, another in Detroit, where one, it was a white woman with a Black man. The other case, it was a Black woman with a white man. But in both stories, when the Black person was in the home to get the appraisal, the house was undervalued. One got over $150,000 more on the house on the appraisal when their white counterpart was there. And same with the other one. It was like 40% lower than what I think 48% lower than what they would have gotten when they had their white spouse to actually meet an appraiser in the home. So these kind of ills are still going on in our society. We still have situations where people will look at a resume and they see the name and they say, oh, I know who that is, and they won't give that person a call. You know what I mean? So we have to turn the tide with these things. We have to address these things. I think it is very naive for us to just pretend like it doesn't exist or to say, well, that was so long ago. No. You still got problems now in 2021. You still have people that do not want to judge people by the content of their character, as Dr. King said. They want to judge people by the color of their skin. And this is still an ongoing problem. So I'm hoping that we could turn the tide and fix it. Especially those who claim Christianity or the church. I feel like we should be leading the cause in this thing. But anyway, I wanted to touch on that with you guys briefly and to share with you about Biden's speech. And hopefully you guys will be motivated to start a business and try to make some things happen for yourself. All right. So for those who don't know, this is the month of June, and I'm excited about the month of June. Why am I excited about the month of June? Because there is something very special about the month of June that takes place that I think everybody in the world needs to celebrate and to start to look to. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to celebrate this June. It is the month that Father's Day comes into play in June. And for those who don't know, I advocate for the fathers. I've done series on fatherlessness. I recommend that you go check those out this month. If you know any fathers that are actually active in their children's lives, I think this is a good month to appreciate them, to celebrate them, to let them know that they're doing a good job. If you know any fathers that aren't doing good, that aren't in their children's lives, what better time than now than to try to encourage them to start to be in their children's lives or try to step up their game or at least advise others to do so. Make a difference, each one reach one. But I'm excited about June because I have a speaking engagement at Martin Street Church of God. They've invited me to preach for their Father's Day program. I'm excited about that. I'm also excited because, as I stated before, I'm an advocate for fathers. I believe that we need fathers to step up to their role, and we need men to be men and to try to help with the family situations. Some of the disciplinary issues we're having with our young people come from not having a father in the home, and now is the time for us to shout it from the rooftops. Hey, happy June. It's Father's Day month. We need to get these fathers in order, get them rank and file, and let's start making an impact in our children's lives. And in fact, I want you guys to do me a favor. If you're watching this video, I want you to go ahead and do a hashtag, Father's Day hashtag, or father and son, father and daughter. Go ahead and share a video, a small clip of you spending time with your kids. Better yet, we'll just call it hashtag father quality time. Okay, hashtag father quality time. Do a short video. I want to air it on the show this month. I want to get clips of fathers spending time with their children. I don't care if you're playing baseball, if you're playing basketball, if you're teaching them accounting, if you're teaching them how you do your job, take them to work with you, whatever you have to do. If you're a father right now, or if you're a mother watching this program, encourage the father, get a cell phone and shoot a short video, and be sure to email it to me. So at micahdobbinsshow@gmail.com, go ahead and email that video to me, or the link, so that I can share it on the page and we can celebrate fathers the whole month of June. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are willing to join me on this endeavor as we try to help the brothers step up into being their children's lives. I want to end the show on another note. So what I'd like for you to do, if you can, consider supporting monthly by visiting my Patreon. There's a Patreon that I have at the Micah Dobbins Show. You can visit it and you can support monthly there, or you can send something to Cashapp, the Micah Dobbins Show. If you want to support financially independent media, it's just Cashapp, the Micah Dobbins Show. I'm always looking for new things that we can do to better the program, to increase the information for you guys. Also, another way you can support is to subscribe. If you don't want to give financially, that's fine. You can subscribe to my YouTube. You can subscribe to my Facebook. You can also follow on Instagram. You can also follow my Twitter account, and you can share and hit like, because when you do these things and leave comments, it also helps to get the word out about the show, and you're also showing your support. So those are two ways, because people have asked me, well, Micah, what can we do to help? We like your content. We want to help you go further. There are a lot of things I want to change as it pertains to the show. We plan on going back into the studio, and we would love to be able to sit down with guests now that the COVID-19 is starting to fall behind us. So we would need you guys to help in that facet or that venture if you're willing to. Also, as it pertains to equipment and staffing, I have a team that we've recently assembled, and this team is looking forward to working. But, nothing in life is free other than salvation. We need to make sure that we're willing to, try to take care of the people who take care of us. And I want to be able to take care of the team as well as some other matters that I have to deal with. So I would love for you guys to consider donating or helping the Micah Dobbins Show get further. Every dollar that you give is going to help with promotions. It's going to help with getting more products. If you want to support by purchasing things, I have the Micah Dobbins Show mug for sale. You can visit my website, www.themicahdobbinsshow.com, and you can find out how to buy the mug. You can buy my t-shirts. You can buy my book and other products that I have. For those who are interested, I'm even doing consultations. So if you're interested, you can message me. You can just visit themicahdobbinsshow.com and you can message me there and let me know that you'd be interested in a consultation. And I'll be more than willing to set up something or have one of my staff members reach out to you. So I wanted to go ahead and end this show on that note, that we're definitely going to need your support. Make sure that you're watching the YouTube channel because I'm starting to do videos during the week. I did Word of the Day this past Wednesday. We're going to have some information I'm going to be giving on Fridays and other days of the week. So I would love for you to check out those platforms. Other than that, all is well. I appreciate each and every one of you. Love you guys and look forward to providing more content and more interviews. This is Micah signing off.